Hello. Have you ever had challenges trying to make a decision? You know, there's really important moments in life where you know, if I make this decision, there are going to be consequences. Well, if you are having challenges making decisions, that's why I've made this simple tool for you. And don't worry, I haven't got anything to sell to you. This is just a gift to you from me, because after I learned this lesson, it helped me in so many ways it's indescribable. And you're about to find out in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Now, a friend of mine coined the term for what I'm about to explain to you, and that friend of mine is Alex Mendosian. And the thing that I want to explain to you is something called the cost of inaction, and you'll see what I mean very shortly. Now, I've put a short tutorial together, but I do want you to get a pen and paper, but this is very, very important. So I'll wait for a second, you grab pen and paper, and I'm going to swap over to some PowerPoint slides that I've prepared for you. So, have you got your pen and paper? Well, get ready, let's hook in. So, you know, one thing that we're all talking about these days, and one thing that's a fantastic niche to get into, I should say, is the health industry. How many people do you see that look like this? I mean, they take their shirt off and they say to themselves, geez, I'm a fine specimen of a man I am, when they look in the mirror. Well, don't worry, this is not a self-portrait, it is not me. My one's coming up in a minute. Now, this individual here, okay, this is where I'm referring to the cost of inaction. This is the individual where I'm sure occasionally he thinks, you know what, maybe I should get up and exercise every now and then. But, you know, obviously, just by looking at him, we know that he doesn't. And that is a cost of inaction. Snooze in bed, cuddle the missus, or get out of bed, exercise and eat better. Now, how about the cost of action? See, I told you my picture would come up in a second. Now, it's pretty obvious that this gentleman works out at least 5 or 6 times a week. I can tell you, because that's me. Well, maybe not, but in my dreams. So, you know, this is the cost of action. Inaction, action. What's the consequences of inaction? Well, maybe diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, you name it. And it's all obvious. We know it in our mind. Well, you know, we really should eat better, we should exercise, and we should drink more water. And yet, do we do what this gentleman does? Not really. So, hence the cost of inaction. What about this gentleman here that's driving the taxi? Now, true story, I actually had a conversation with a gentleman called Raj last year, and he loves driving his taxi. He actually works 7 days a week, and so I actually didn't give him advice on how he may be able to get a better return on time, because he was so happy doing what he was doing. But what if this gentleman wasn't happy earning the $100 that he earns, or maybe, $150 I think they earn in their taxi. Now, I used to know a lot about the taxi industry because I used to own a couple. So back in the day, and I'm glad I sold my plates now before Uber came on the place, or I'd be in trouble. But back in the day, I used to see taxi drivers make around about $150 to $200 a day. Now, they're working 12 hours a day, and it's hard yakky. You may not think it, but it is. And if they're happy doing it, that's fantastic. And this is not a dig at taxi drivers. However, do you think that there's a lot of taxi drivers that wish they could be earning better money, wish they could be doing other things rather than drive a taxi? Well, probably there is. And with a little bit of action, with a little bit of study, with learning about a better business vehicle they could use, there's every chance they could quite easily triple, quadruple, probably 10 times the amount of money that they are earning, simply by taking action and learning a new skill and a new ability that they don't have at the moment. So what keeps them here? Well, maybe they just don't think that they can do something, and that's absolute rubbish, because I would say 95% of people can actually do amazing things. They just don't stretch themselves to do it. Again, cost of inaction. Now, let's have a look. This is more a practical demonstration of what I'm talking about with this tool. Let's say that we'll call this guy a builder. Now, he's a very well-dressed builder, and I'm using a builder because I do have a trades background, ladies and gentlemen, in another era, in another life before I cut up my contractor's license. And so this builder here, let's just imagine that he goes out and he wants to make sales, and he's selling renovations to individuals. Now, he's a very good builder, and he knows that he's better than a lot of them out there. He scratches his head in disgust at some of the work that he sees done. But he's very unhappy, ladies and gentlemen, because he's working hard, and yet he doesn't have the life that he wants. He doesn't have the home that he wants, and he can't take his family on those nice holidays because he's not earning enough income. Although he's working his backside off, He's working 60 hours a week and making 80,000 a year for his effort. But he wants to make 200,000 a year because then he can afford to do the things that he wants to do with his family and send them to the schools and take the holidays and have the bank accounts and the nice retirement, etc. So the shortfall's about 120,000 a year. Are you with me so far? Well, let's have a look at something here. This is, again, an interesting scenario because this is very realistic, what I'm showing you right now, that I do with clients time and time and time again. Let's just say that he's out there and he's selling renovations, and the average renovation that he sells is $40,000. And he actually gets one sale in 10 when he makes his renovations. Now, anyone that understands sales will understand that 1 out of 10 conversions is not that nice a conversion rate. That's only a 10% conversion rate, ladies and gentlemen. So he hears about this sales seminar about some individual that's going to teach some skills to people about how they can become better salespeople. And he goes, well, that's interesting. Maybe that will help. So this is where another very important law comes in. And that law is, you've probably heard as Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule. Have you ever heard of that? So 80% of people may hear about that seminar, but only 20% of those people will go there. Maybe, 8 out of 10 builders won't go there, 2 out of 10 builders will to learn new skills. But Pareto's law is actually more involved than that, because even though the 80-20 rule is valid, there's a more important rule, and that's the 95-5 rule. And that's when 5% of people will take serious action. 20% of people take action, but only 5% of people take serious action. And so these people hear about this sales seminar. Now, do they go and do they actually learn these skills and develop their abilities? Well, let's have a look again at what would happen if they did go there. So again, remember that the average sale is $40,000. He goes and he learns these new sales skills and learns how to communicate and learns how to listen to what a client wants, for Pete's sake. And then he invests in some unique point of sale material so that he can actually reinforce his message and use some strategic sales skills rather than just being tactical. Now, because he's learned these new abilities that most of his competitors still don't know about, he actually converts 3 in 10 sales now instead of 1 in 10 appointments. How cool is that? Now, what's really happened is he's tripled his income, hasn't he? So he's now gone from his 80,000 to 240,000. Isn't that nice? How? Well, because he went to an event that he probably had to pay some money for. He learned some new skills, he practiced those skills, he applied them, and then he got the improvements. So the cost of inaction, the cost of not going to that event was actually $160,000 a year, because he knew really deep down that if he did go to that seminar, that he would learn some skills and his sales will probably improve to a certain degree. He didn't really know how much, but he knew that it would probably help him a lot because he'd never done sales training. Now, that works out to $3,076 a week, ladies and gentlemen. And this transformation that you see here, this is very, very common. I see it happen time and time again. This is what I spend my life doing these days, guys. It's called the cost of inaction. Should I go to the seminar? Shouldn't I? Now, everyone has excuses of why they should or shouldn't do something, why they did or didn't take action. I'm too busy. The kids were sick. I had to go to the dentist, whatever it is. But the 5% that went to that seminar, learned those skills and applied them, well, they're the ones that got the benefit. So are you getting this? Do you understand where I'm coming from and why it's so important for you to be able to make decisions? One way or the other. But understand the cost of not making a decision, what it will mean to you. I learned this lesson way back in the year 2000, and at that point I didn't even have $20 to my name. But once I understood this philosophy and the importance of taking action, I went to multimillionaire within 3 years and owned one of the largest air conditioning companies in Australia. Now, what are you going to do once you have the ability to take action? So what I did is I put a tool together down below. Just have a look below. And the questions are very self-explanatory. Work out what your current income is. Put down what the desired income is that you really want out of life. And then have a look at what that cost of inaction means. Because all of you have the ability to generate whatever income you desire. It's just a matter of how serious you are and what effort you're willing to put in to get it. So I hope you enjoyed the tool. If you have any questions at all, look below. And by the way, I've got some gifts below as well. I've got 2 gifts for you. You work out which one might be beneficial for you. But we'd love to hear from you. And if I can do any more to assist you in getting where you want to get to, please don't hesitate to contact us. Hope you enjoyed the tool. Make sure you say hello to me on Facebook and like us on Facebook. And also you might want to check me out on YouTube, where my YouTube videos are. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.